Hello my dear friends, you're in the Military Summary channel. In this video we're going to discuss the most important events that took place during the previous 12 hours. We have lots of very interesting updates, so let's start. And first we're going to talk about the conflict on the territory of Ukraine, where during the previous night between the 19th and the 20th of June of 2026, both sides attacked each other with drones. The Minister of Defense of Ukraine this morning stated that the Russians used 99 drones to attack the territory of Ukraine. As of the previous report, the Minister of Defense of Ukraine stated that the Russians yesterday used just 90 drones. So as you can see, these numbers are very small, which means that the Russians began concentration and accumulation of drones before the next massive attack, which most likely is going to take place within the next 2 or 3 days. Another important thing is that despite the fact that the Russians began using less and less drones during the overnight attack, we see that the Russians sometimes with these small attacks show better results when using hundreds of drones, and this is a very important detail. As of the previous night, the Russians managed to deal significant damage to the Ukraine's logistics and fuel infrastructure. And first, let's talk about the southwestern parts of the Odessa region. During the previous night, the Russians attacked the settlement of Sarata, more precisely the Sarata gas station, so this one. As a result of attack, according to media, a fuel truck was destroyed, and here we can see the consequences of attack. The fuel truck was destroyed, and most likely this gas station would be also damaged. So this gas station was destroyed, and telling the truth, this is not the first gas station that was destroyed by the Russians through the southwestern parts of the Odessa region. If you remember, just yesterday we discussed another Russian attack in the area of the settlement of Monashy. Here we have another gas station, not the gas station, but here we have something like a parking site, and here we can see how a civilian was moving along this area, and he was filming another fuel truck that was destroyed as a result of the Russian attack. So as you can see, just during the previous 2 days, the Russians destroyed several fuel trucks and damaged several gas stations in this area, which means that currently the Russians probably managed to establish complete drone control over the territory without any chances for the Ukrainians to establish the normal logistics in this area and normal fuel supply of this part, and the most important, a normal transit through this territory in the direction of the mainland. The Russians will continue this process most likely, and this situation can affect significantly the situation along the line of combat contact. Now let's talk about the Dnipro and Zaporizhzhia regions. During the previous night, additional strikes and explosions were recorded as well. The Russians continue attacking the settlement of Nikopol, and as a result of attack, as you can see, another gas station was destroyed. I would like to remind you that the Ukrainians used the settlement of Nikopol to attack the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, and these days we've received lots of updates on this matter. Now we see that the Russians are trying to reduce the capabilities of the armed forces Ukraine through the territory. And if we increase the number of updates since the beginning of the 14th of June of 2026, we would see that the Russians destroyed and attacked lots of vehicles and lots of objects of fuel infrastructure between the cities of Nikopol and Dnipro. Just yesterday we discussed that the Nikopol-Dnipro road R73, and we see that a lot of vehicles, a lot of military vehicles, especially fuel trucks, were destroyed by Russians as a result of drone attack. So as you can see, the situation is becoming very difficult for the armed forces Ukraine, especially on the matter of bringing fuel to the line of combat contact. Now let's discuss the situation with the city of Zaporizhzhia. During the previous night, the sources reported that the Russians attacked a Nova Poshta cargo facility. So we have pictures. As you can see, another logistic hub was completely destroyed and basically reduced to ruins. This is a primary target for Russians, and this cargo facility of Nova Poshta is not the only facility of Nova Poshta that was destroyed during the previous 12 hours. Another one was destroyed on the territory of the city of Kharkiv, and we will come here in a minute. As for the city of Dnipro, here we have the same situation. The Russians between the 17th and the 19th of June of 2026 attacked this facility, and we have this picture with a very big hole on the roof of this terminal. The Russians were attacking this terminal using Iskander missile. Most likely this terminal was destroyed. Another important thing is that the Russians in the same area area, attacked and destroyed another gas station. Not the gas station, but an attack was made on the gas processing plant using the Geran-2 drone. So this processing plant was destroyed by Russians. Another object of energy infrastructure, as you can see, was destroyed. Now we are moving to the northern directions, and here we have the most important probably updates. And the first we're going to talk about the city of Kharkiv, because the Russians have finished the Kharkiv logistic hub in the most northwestern part. This video was published today by pro-Russian sources, and according to information we have, a Russian Su-34 destroyed the Ukrainian drone storage facility and components for their production on the outskirts of the city of Kharkiv. So this video was published today by pro-Russian sources. Here we can see Russian drones flying over this territory and filming the consequences of attacks. So this biggest facility was destroyed, and the Russians are saying that the Ukrainians were using this facility to produce drones that later the Ukrainians were using to attack deep inside of the territory of Russia. In the area of the settlement of Bogodukhov, another gas station, as you can see, was destroyed. So probably we have already calculated and counted dozens of gas stations that were destroyed through the line of combat contact, and obviously sooner or later this will make a critical effect to the combat capabilities of the armored forces of Ukraine along the line of combat contact, and at some point, at some very moment, the Ukrainians basically would be completely out of fuel, with no chances to be flexible and mobile and to redeploy troops from one side of Ukraine to another. Another facility was destroyed on the territory of the city of Trastinets. As for this territory, the Russians destroyed this plant that Ukrainians, according to pro-Russian sources, were using for military purposes. Another important thing is that the Russians, as you can see right now, destroy everything along the line of combat contact. So basically the Russians created something like a corridor with 110 kilometers from the line of combat contact deep inside of the territory of Ukraine, just 100. And as you can see, despite the fact that the Ukrainians these days usually attack deep inside of the territory of Russia, the Russians attack only just 100 kilometers deep inside of the territory of Ukraine. The Russians are not attacking anything deeper, which means that we haven't received anything probably since the beginning of this year, plus minus more or less, from the western parts of Ukraine. The Russians stopped attacking this territory because either the Russians don't have these possibilities or they don't think that this is something that's needed to be done right now. At the same time, the Russians attacked the territory of the northwestern parts of Ukraine in the area of the city of Kiev, and this is a very interesting situation and a focal point for the president of Ukraine, Zelensky, who during the previous 24 hours issued a very interesting ultimatum to the president of the Republic of Belarus. Zelensky stated he threatens to launch strikes on Belarus. He claims that there is equipment deployed in Belarusian towers along the borders with Ukraine that adjust Russian strikes on Ukraine. I give a week to withdraw it, otherwise we will do it ourselves. He also called Belarus one of the main suppliers of fuel for the Russian army and said that Lukashenko can't stop this. So what Zelensky is talking about? He says that there is a large line of equipment established along the border between the Republic of Belarus and Ukraine. We are talking about this territory, and when the Russians launch drones, let's say from the area of the Bryansk region, usually these drones fly along the border because the Russians have a stable signal with these drones from the territory of the Republic of Belarus, and these drones can get almost till the most western parts of Ukraine to the territory of the city of Kovel and to attack any target without any problems. And also using these drones, the Russians, and using this equipment, the Russians coordinate drones and missiles when the Russians attacked this capital of Ukraine, the city of Kiev. And as we can see, the Ukrainians are not able to do anything with this. So that is why it has become a focal point and decisive moment for the president of Ukraine, Zelensky. Either Ukraine will force the Belarusians to move this equipment from this area or to destroy this equipment, or the Ukrainians would suffer significant problems when talking about the city of Kiev, because the Russians would continue improving this surprise tactics. And this is the reason why the president of Ukraine issued an ultimatum to the president of the Republic of Belarus to remove this equipment. And he also noted that if the president of Belarus doesn't remove the equipment, then the Ukrainians would attack oil refineries. One of them is located on the territory of Mozyr region, almost along the border with Ukraine. This is the Mozyr oil refinery, and obviously the Ukrainians will have no problems to attack this refinery with missiles. And another refinery is located in the most northern parts of Belarus in the Polotsk region. As for this refinery, of course, it would be not so easy for the Ukrainians to get, but most likely they would be able to do this. So this is the situation. The Republic of Belarus has 10 days to make this decision, but most likely the ultimatum of the president of Ukraine would be rejected, and then we might see another wave of escalation, but this time not just between Ukraine and the Russian Federation, but between Ukraine and the Republic of Belarus. So let's wait and see what is going to happen next, but we need to understand that the Republic of Belarus has a nuclear weapon. Now let's discuss the situation about the Ukrainian attack. During the previous night, the Ukrainians also attacked the territory of Russia using hundreds of drones. The pro-Ukrainian sources reported that the Ukrainians used 250 drones to attack deep inside of the territory of Russia. The Russians stated that during the night they destroyed 187 drones. The sources reported that the Ukrainians were mainly attacking the territory of Crimea, and we have a lot of videos on this matter. In this video we can see the overnight battle between the Ukrainian drones and the Russian air defense forces. As of the morning of the 20th of June of 2026, we haven't received anything on the matter whether the Ukrainians managed to hit something or not. During the previous night also the Ukrainians published lots of videos of how they were attacking different objects on the territory of Crimea. As of now it's very difficult to say whether these objects were attacked by the Ukrainians during the previous night's attack or these pictures are archived pictures. So anyway, we have some facilities that were damaged by the Ukrainians through the southern regions. In this video we can see a vehicle belonged to the armed forces of the Russian Federation that was attacked by a drone in the area of the settlement of Skadovsk. During the previous days the Ukrainians damaged and destroyed several gas stations in this area. Furthermore, the Ukrainians were attacking the territory in the southern parts of Donetsk region, Zaporizhzhia, Crimea, Kherson regions, hunting and trying to destroy fuel trucks and objects of energy infrastructure and objects of air defense forces. Anyway, as for the overnight attack, we see that probably this attack was repelled by the Russians more or less. Now let's move further and let's discuss the situation along the line of combat contact. And first we're going to talk about the Slavyansk Konstantinovka direction. Additional changes on the ground were recorded. This is the end of the 19th of June. This is the beginning of the 20th of June. The Russians improved their positions around the settlements of Markovo, Mayskaya, Chasov Yar, and the Russians continue offensive operation further. After the end of the battle for the 90% of the city of Konstantinovka, the Russians are tasked to maintain the line, to shorten the distances, and to cut this pocket with villages like Chervonyi, Podolsk, and Stinky. In coming days, we might see additional offensives from the Russian side in this direction with the purpose to force the Ukrainians to fall back. When the Russians maintain the line, they will continue offensive operation further. As for the city of Konstantinovka, we received small changes through the Chervonyi micro district. Additional buildings and streets were captured. In coming day, we are waiting for additional updates from the Minister of Defense. As for the eastern Kramatorsk direction, the Russians yesterday reported that the settlement of Yurkovka was captured by Russians. Today we received additional report on this matter. Several pro-Russian sources clarified the situation along MO3 road, the direct way towards the city of Slavyansk in the northwestern direction. As for the city of Lyman, during this morning, pro-Russian sources published additional videos about the situation in this area, and here we can see more episodes how Russian troops were moving through different parts of the settlement. Two more places were recorded with the Russian troops, one of them in the central part and the second one in the area of this lake. The Russians continue advancing. The battle for the city of Lyman is coming to its end as well. And that's it for the short video. The military summary channel reminds that we condemn any violence in the world. Thank you for your watching. Subscribe to my channel, put your likes, join my Patreon, and have a good day. Bye bye.